Greetings daisies, welcome back to my channel. Today's video I'll finally be doing the tips for interview and application for studying abroad. Okay, so starting off I'm going to talk about the application process, which leads into the interview process if you have interviews at your school for study abroad programs that you want to do. And within that I'll be also sharing my experiences studying abroad throughout college, and yeah, I think that's all I'm gonna do. Okay, so number one, with the application process, you're probably like, oh my gosh, like what am I gonna write about? How can I make my application really good for study abroad specifically? Now it's probably gonna be a lot like if you're writing essays for personal statements, scholarships, you're really trying to shed a light on yourself and who you are and why you fit for this program. Know why you're picking this location specifically and the program. A good tip for answering this question within the essays that might be required are first really knowing right away, like, why did you decide that you want to go to Japan, or why are you deciding that you want to go to South Africa? Like, what is it that right away that you want to pick those places? And even if it's just because, you know, I've always wanted to travel to Italy, I've always wanted to travel to Brazil, you should always state that, because that's like your initial passion that's drawing you to it. And they want you to be able to, like, you don't always have to be like academic. They want to know that you're excited for this place, and sometimes that always includes like your personal interest with the place. So for example, with my very first study abroad experience, it was during my freshman year. I was applying to an exploration seminar for business, so I'd be getting 5 business credits for a 4-week program during the summer. I applied to 2 different programs between London and India. We're going through different cities in India, like traveling the whole like southern area of the country, I believe. The London program interested me because I've always wanted to go to London. Like, just I was obsessed with the history and the buildings, the architecture, the museums. I just always felt like I belonged in London. So that was just like automatic, like, why wouldn't you want to go to London? And then with the India program, it was studying women in entrepreneurship, and that was one of my passions. Like, even coming into college, like, I've always been passionate about entrepreneurship. I wanted to have my own business, and so I was like, oh yeah, like, I'd love to apply for that program. So when you're explaining why you pick the location and why you pick the program, include something fun and exciting that you know about the location that's very specific, very unique, that you want to be a part of. Or if you're going to be in the area during a certain time of the year, that's important to so during a certain time of year where there's an event happening, or there's like a specific type of festival or carnival that you're really excited, include that in your essay. They're like, oh, you know, she's really looking ahead. This is like a very unique thing about this person that she really wants to go here. Another tip inside of a tip, apply to 2 different programs, probably within the same type of subject and schools. You don't have to do too many essays. But apply to 2 different programs so that you'll have an option. Like, you're not, you know, dead set on this choice and you change your mind. You always have 2 different choices when you get accepted to the programs. Yeah, that's discussing the location. I think that's such a big part, is making sure that you're picking a location that is going to be fun to you. Like, would you enjoy going to a big city or a small city? Do you want to start off going to a city that you know the language, or do you want to really push yourself? Just deciding that and going with your gut. Like, if you've always wanted to go to Tokyo, if you've always wanted to go to Barcelona, pick those locations and then see if the program objectives and description would fit to you. But overall, I think the most important part is the location, because that's the whole vibe of everything, and that's going to determine if you're going to be happy, excited, you know, have stuff to do or not. So location is definitely the most important thing. This might be a longer video than I expect, because there's so much that you can say. Now I'm only on my first point about it, and then yeah, there's like so much to talk about when it comes to studying abroad. Now that you've decided the location that you want to go to, or the country that you're trying to travel to, and the program that you want to be involved with, a good tip would be to apply directly what the course objectives are to your interests, because that's really showing that that you're listening, that you know what you're signing up for, and that you'll be able to contribute to the program. So for example, go directly onto the course website that's saying course objectives. We hope that you'll be immersed into the culture of contemporary art or something like that, and then directly using a keyword in there like immerse, analyze, contemporary, like using those type of keywords, using it directly into your personal statement, saying I'm passionate about immersing into such and such culture because since I was 10, I've always had an interest in this. And also talking about things that you are excited to learn. So if it's saying that we hope for you to be able to stretch your thinking to be able to analyze complex problems and such, directly state that you are excited or you want to be able to become a thinker that can stretch like their perspective. Like directly say that you know what you're about to learn and how this is about to help you. And so you directly, you know, have a whole paragraph about the academic portion of it and like what you're gonna get out of it, because that really shows the program director that you will be like attentive and that you're gonna get out of it what they hope for you to get out of it. So it's, you know, you're able to directly correlate the two. Know what unique experiences will prepare you for this program. So they're gonna ask you in the interview a time you had to problem solve. Name a time where you were confused and you had to ask for help, and what was that like? There's also questions for the application process. So I might ask you, have you had any experience outside of the country or studying abroad? If so, like tell us about that. And it's okay if you have not had that experience yet. What they're trying to get at is how do you know how to handle yourself in a place that's not your home? And so the first time that I was studying abroad, I hadn't been outside the country, so I didn't know what it was like. And so that's an important part to note inside your essay of like, I have never been outside the country and this is important to me because fill in the blank. So expressing that you are someone who has not been outside the country. This is an opportunity of a lifetime for you. And so really expressing that passion and drive and how this is a first for you. Will, you know, they want to pick people who haven't been like outside and they want to be able to give you this opportunity. So be sure to include that in that portion of the essay or the interview. Even if you haven't been outside of the country, I talked about being outside of the city, like traveling when I was in high school, like going to different cities for cheerleading and like basketball tournaments and traveling around, and how I was adapting to different situations by being on time, being prepared to know the environment I was in. These type of skills inside of the state, inside of the country are important for when you go outside of the country. So just because you don't have experience out, like traveling outside or abroad, it's so important to include the skills that you might learn and expressing that of how you've already like prepared for being in unfamiliar type of environments. Tip number 4, know how you react to unfamiliar environments when you're writing the essay or in the study abroad interview. I'm kind of going back and forth with interview and application because it's pretty much, you know, questions that you've written down, but they're asking you in person basically. You want to be able to pick out a time where you've been in an unfamiliar environment or a situation where you didn't know people around you and be able to portray how you handle yourself in the type of environments. An example could be inside the classroom when you're with 40 other people and you don't know their names. How do you react to not knowing going in the classroom? Are you a person that initiates conversation? Do you ask questions around the people around you? Like, are you curious? Are you not afraid to speak up and get to know people around you? When you're working at an internship, when you had a question or you're giving a task and you didn't have that much information on it, what did you do? Did you look it up online, find some tutorials of how to figure out a type of situation? Did you ask your mentor? Did you ask your other intern coworkers, I guess? What's the situation that you took the initiative to find out more information? And how did you react to being in an unfamiliar situation where you didn't know people or you didn't know where you're going? Those are the type of like real moments that you can discuss in your paper, but especially you can portray it more like face to face because you're, you know, sharing like, I didn't know anyone, but I was able to connect with other people because of my friendly personality or just like being outgoing and just not being afraid to speak up. Those are the type of real situations that occur when you're studying abroad, like getting lost or asking questions, speaking up at company meetings. Those are the type of things that program directors want with their students that they're taking across the country. Tip number 5, be able to explain how this study abroad experience will impact or influence your future career goals. For example, my third study abroad program, I was doing a research exploration seminar for about 4 weeks to Accra, Ghana, and all of southern Ghana. The program was a part of the informatics school, and I'm in the business school. And so being able to connect the course objectives to my career goals was very important to for, you know, the application reviewers to see why I was a good fit, although I was outside of the informatics school. And so one of the things that I said was, as a marketing professional, marketing research is something that I'm interested in. And so having hands-on experience, being able to conduct interviews and analyze data is directly related to my career goals of working in marketing and being able to understand the consumers and gather firsthand research to better understand my target audience. That was the way that I did it. And so like you can do the same thing with looking at what you're going to learn in a specific part of your career where this will be helpful. And that will show that you're thinking ahead of how study abroad can impact the rest of your life. With my London program, it was high tech in the UK. And so at first I didn't know, I was like, am I interested in technology? I don't know. At the time I was just like, that program sounds way too hard. Like I don't know anything about high tech. And so I wasn't sure if I was like, you know, the right fit for it, because I was like, oh my God, technology sounds so scary. But I'm so glad I took that chance and, you know, like got to know it, because I ended up learning more about like information systems and, you know, got more of the confidence to be like, okay, technology is for me too. With that, one of the direct quotes that I was saying was having international experience is very important for a business professional, because you'll be able to analyze complex business problems using a diverse perspective. I would always use that little bit in like so many essays, because it's very important for people to know that you understand that having international experience really makes you more able to look at things from a different type of perspective, considering that when you're applying to jobs, they want to see that you are globally minded, that you can interact with different clients from various cultures, perspectives, and that you'll be that go-to person that's going to know how to interact with the different type of business environments. And so that's super important. You really want to express that you understand that this is what recruiters are looking for. This is what you're looking for with what you want to get out of college. Really have a paragraph focusing on, this is not only an experience where I'm going to have so much fun and I've always wanted to travel. This is going to help me in the long run, and program directors are going to want to know that you're going to get a lot out of this. So when you're selecting an exchange, in the interview and also the written application, you want to be able to express why specifically this time period is what you want to do. Like, why did you choose to do 4 months instead of 4 weeks? Like, what prepares you to be away from home, away from school that you already know for 4 entire months? So with my experience, after I did the 4-week London program, I was just so set on being able to study abroad again. I had got so much out of it. I knew traveling was something I loved. I became more independent. It really changed my perspective of like who I am. I was just like determined to keep going after my goals, because coming into college, I was like, study abroad is what I want to do. I don't know how I'm going to do it. And when I did it, I literally had the best time of my life in London, and I just need to continually go after what I wanted. And that's just like my mindset, like forever, you know, like never stop traveling, never stop doing what you love. Coming back into school, I was preparing to do an exchange, because those 4 weeks flew by so fast and I wanted to see more. And so for 4 months for me, I wanted to try it, because college is an experience where, you know, I don't know if I'm gonna get the time to not work and just be in a new country for 4 months. That's completely unique. And then location, Italy was somewhere that's in Europe, and it's also close to other countries, and I would have the ability to travel between different countries throughout the semester and have a longer time to see other places in Europe. So that was a very specific thing to 4 months. I have 4 months to see so many different other places. And then also wanted to push myself. I know it was going to be something that was different. I was going to be in an environment where I didn't speak Italian at all. So I wanted to have that experience of navigating a society that I didn't speak the language, and just being able to connect with people in different ways. So that's if you're doing exchange and more of independent type of things. And if you're in a group type of setting, like an exploration seminar, or like a summer program, they're gonna ask about group dynamics. What do you do in a challenging situation? Like, what do you do, kind of like a regular job interview? Like, tell me a time where you worked with someone who was difficult, or what was the time where you worked with a group? What type of role do you play? What type of role do you play in a team environment? Like in the interview, if it is a group environment, a specific scenario, like what would you do if you had a group, what would you do if one of your colleagues was about to engage in risky behavior? Like what would you do? What are you gonna do if one of your colleagues comes home, comes back to the dorm drunk and tries to go to the company meeting with a hangover? Like what would you tell them? You know, they're gonna put you in that type of situation. Like, do you tell the program director? Like, do you talk to them? If you see them about to, you know, hop in a car with someone they don't know, what type of responsibility are you gonna take as someone in the group and as a friend, or are you gonna look the other way? And so that's important to be able to craft out, like, what are you gonna do when you see other people engaging in risky behavior? Because it's important, they're gonna wanna know that you're gonna be safe and that you can look out for others and also know to do what's right, basically. And so if you were having a colleague that's like drunk and stuff and about to do risky things, making sure that you're stepping up and looking out for them, telling the program director when it gets really serious, and just making sure that you have their number, their location, making sure everyone knows where they are. So making sure that you're able to show that you're stepping up to, you know, help other people when they are in need, and, you know, showing that you're not too independent to where you don't care about the group that you're with. Along with that, if you've had experience in group situations or had any conflict or had like some successful stories, you can share that in the interview and especially in the paper. And so some of the group settings you can talk about is working on a group project in class. You can talk about being a leader in high school, because I remember applying my first time. I was, you know, it was a competitive program and a lot of the people applying were juniors and seniors. And so I didn't have a lot of experience on the college campus. And so I think I had a lot of my like main leadership experiences were in high school in ASB. And so it's totally okay to talk about that because they know that you're 18 and 19 years old, so you don't have to make up like, I'm a, you know, such and such. You've only been on campus for, you know, a quarter. Know the basic facts of the country so that you're able to share how you're prepared to respectfully immerse yourself in the culture and that you respect the different cultural norms. You want to know what those culture norms are so that you're prepared to answer those questions. And also just the basic facts of the language they speak, when they had their independence, like any recent political things that have happened and how that's influenced the people that live there, so that you're not just going there and not knowing what they're dealing with or any laws that have happened. Show that you have a personality. Laugh, make the person laugh at yourself. The interviewer, who's probably the program director, is going to be spending a lot of time with you if it's a faculty-led program, and you know, you want to be able to show that you're a person that will be fun or have, you know, nice, caring, kind, you know, person that you would want to travel with. Show that in the interview. Whoever that is, be yourself. Don't try to be, if you don't know anything about the culture, don't try to make something up. Like, they will be like, that's actually not true. So be prepared for those. Just be able to, you know, just be yourself. Another thing is be honest. Be able to express why you really love this place, why you really want to go there, and not make up something that has nothing to do with you. So one of the things that I expressed that was like non-academic that really drew me to a program was my last study abroad experience in Ghana. I had included that, you know, I've always wanted to travel to Western Africa because that's where my ancestry derives from, and so I want to be able to go back to where my people come from. I didn't know exactly where at the time, but I was explaining that, you know, I'm doing ancestry DNA soon. I'm really excited to see where everything began for my family, and wanting to see like my American upbringing as a Black American and being able to see the similarities and differences between Ghanaian culture and just seeing where they overlap, and applying that to coming back home and being able to know more about myself and know more about my heritage. That was what drew me to the location of Ghana. And that's also something unique because not all the people in the program were African American, and so they don't have that same type of curiosity or connection to wanting to go to a country in Western or Central Africa. Being able to explain that, being honest, like, yeah, I want to go here because of that, you know, not being afraid of, you know, saying your true desire of going to a place. Dress the part. I would say dress the part as business casual, like a shirt like this. I think I actually wore this to, where did I wear this? I wore this to an interview. I have worn this to interviews before. You know, something that's me, it's me. So like, if you don't wear bright colors, then don't try to, you know, show up wearing, you know, green, white, and red because you're going to Italy. You know, it wouldn't be like too extra, but if you're extra all the time, then go for it. I remember at my exchange interviews, some people weren't dressed up and I was like, so it's just like, you know, jeans and a shirt, well, okay. But just in case, I would say dress up. Apparently I've been talking to this camera for over an hour and so my battery died and I can't find my spare battery and I have to charge it, so let me hurry up and finish what I have to say. Overall, in the interview, you want to make sure that you're smiling, you're sure that you're excited. Show what you know that's specific to the location, the time you're going to be there, places that you've already mapped out that you really want to go to, and also discussing how it applies to you in your future. Okay, Daisies, my camera just died as soon as I was about to say this. Thank you for watching my video today. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, take it step by step and day by day.